appreciate your candour. However, it doesn't help the rest of us, does it? Or the rest of the Eurozone.
Listen, I would say this to everybody who's watching this. This economic crisis is like a cancer. If you just wait and wait, thinking this is going to go away, just like a cancer, it's going to grow and it's going to be too late. What I would say to everybody is, get prepared. This is not a time right now to wishful thinking the government is going to sort things out. The government
that's enough.
don't rule the world.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was the kicker. Back it up 20 seconds. I forgot why we played the clip. He said, this is not a game. It's not a joke. Goldman Sachs rules the world. It's a controlled implosion. Wow, I was about to cut it off right at the money shot. But what's so shocking about this is that it's so true. And that it's stated on BBC that reaches tens of millions of people worldwide, and it scared a bunch of people. See, the insiders are sitting around in their $100 million houses right now laughing about this, and they don't want you to know they're getting ready to drop the hammer on you. They want you to naively play along with patty cake with them. Now, see, if I had a teleprompter, I wouldn't have said patty cake. And I could have, like, the White House just download talking points for me as they do for the major media. But see, occasionally something slips out on these type of programs that isn't scripted, and that's why they've come out and attacked this guy. Let's have him continue.
Thinking the government is going to sort things out. The governments don't rule the world. Goldman Sachs rules the world. Goldman Sachs does not care about this rescue package, neither does the big funds. So actually, what I would actually tell people, I want to help people. People can make money from this. It isn't just traders. What they need to do is learn about how to make money from a downward market. The first thing people should do is protect.
You can watch the rest of the clip up on INFOWARS.com and PRISONPLANET.com and Zero Hedge and everywhere else. You're not supposed to tell people how to actually protect themselves. That's why they're trying to drive down gold and silver, is because it is the obvious real money solution to the fiat poison. Okay, I got Rob Dew coming up, and I'm getting way behind here in the InfoWars Nightly News. We've never had the show be 30 minutes like it's supposed to be. It's unscripted. I can't help it. I mean, what are we going to do here? Continuing here with the news, it's gallows humor. I've got to laugh some about what we're facing. Let's just briefly get to Fukushima. I'll show you a clip of 3 days into it, the MAX 3 number 3 reactor blew up. It's a plutonium-uranium-based reactor. And I talked to top scientists at the time that had sources in Japan that studied the isotopes. They knew it was a complete and total meltdown. That one reactor was probably about 50 times, that's a conservative estimate, the type of radiation that came out of Chernobyl. Chernobyl, conservatively, according to the UN, killed about 1 million people in the next 20-plus years. But our EPA's answer has been to just raise the level of radioactive isotopes, what they say is safe. And that's like if a kid gets run over by an 18-wheeler, well, you just still send little kids out in front of the 18-wheeler. You just write a policy saying kids can now live when an 18-wheeler going 100 miles an hour runs over them. It doesn't matter if the kid's dead. You have a piece of paper that says they're still alive. So we have radiation raining down on us. I've seen reports of it a couple hundred times, safe levels, but it's okay. Because sure, the Japanese prime minister had to resign, and the trade winds and jet stream come right over the U.S., and milks in Vermont's been found to have high levels of radiation. It's okay. Because Bloomberg is reporting Fukushima desolation, worst thing they've seen since Nagasaki, and residents are fleeing. And I've talked to people that have been in Tokyo recently. Wayne Madsen, he said he's been to Tokyo many times. It's basically empty. I mean, used to you couldn't get on a subway. Now if you get on the subway, nobody's on it. The Japanese actually ran to the south when radiation went up. Here in America, the government just says, hey, it's good for you. You know, bisphenol A is good for you. I remember when it came out that there was melamine in a bunch of products and food from China, and it was killing a bunch of Chinese, and the Chinese government executed the company head that did it and apologized, and they had all those deaths. Our EPA just responded by saying melamine's no longer bad for you. By the way, listeners aren't going to believe that. Let's just go ahead and search. EPA says melamine no longer bad for you. You'll get Washington Post. See, maybe the government can say gravity doesn't exist. And if they put a memo out and put it in the news, then suddenly I can just float to work. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of cool. Like, whoa. We ought to do a piece. Marcos does awesome graphics. He did that spontaneous combustion piece yesterday, and also the Thundar piece. Maybe we should do a piece where the government writes a memo saying there's no more gravity. Or that I'm not bound by my body, and I'll just astral project, like Casper, like my ghost will go out. Because the government wrote a memo. Or maybe they'll write a memo saying Keebler elves are real, so I'll have Keebler elves start dancing around me in here. Because they say radiation's safe. They're still looking for it. Melamine, just say EPA, melamine no longer bad for you. And you can learn all about it. But the point is that we're not in Kansas anymore, as I said last night. Okay, I'm really out of control now. We're going to go ahead and get into our top story this evening. We've got a compilation of several newscast clips locally that I want to analyze. But today on the radio, I played one of the clips, and the guy goes to the door and says, "Hi, I'm here from a school district. I'm here to give your child the shot." He just says it authoritatively, like, "Hi, I'm here. Hand over your bank account to me." And, of course, then they go on to imply, well, we also found a lot of truant kids, as if it's criminal to not vaccinate your children. And they also say it's a new law. Well, we went and checked. There is no law. And since we started reporting on this yesterday, they've already come out this morning on the same news channel and said, you know what? There is a waiver from the policy. But see, a policy is not a law. But then they went back on the same newscast to say, but still you have to do it. And where I live in Austin now, every year in August, they say, it's the law, you got to take shots. And I'll call up a local TV station and I'll say, there's no law. There's a waiver from the policy. And they go, no, kids are going to jail. Yeah, they're going to juvenile hall because the schools kick them out because they aren't vaccinated and then charge them with truancy when the school kicked them out, and that's illegal. Because it's not truant if the school suspends you over a policy. Got that? It's a parlor trick. It's a fraud, and they run the same gang. The same gang runs the same game all over the country and all over the world. The same scam is run, and I'm here calling it. Let's go ahead and start going to this newscast, and I will stop and comment on it.
Measures to make sure every student is vaccinated in Natomas. School officials went door to door with a nurse offering the Tdap vaccine.
Good pause. School officials went door to door offering. Funny, I have the local newspaper reporting that it was the law, and then later they say it's the law. See, this is all a trick. Oh, we're offering this. But if you notice in these different newscasts, in fact, I haven't even seen the package they put together, but the one I aired on the radio today, the guy comes to the door, and he says, again, I'm here to give her the shot, starts trying to go in. And the mother says, bleep you, and slams the door. Go back to it.
School officials went door to door with a nurse offering the Tdap vaccine to meet a new state mandate.
Hello, how are you, ma'am? Hi. My name's Heyman Matlock with the Natomas Unified School District.
It's not easy going door to door, making sure students are vaccinated.
Your daughter is on independent study.
Yes.
Kayla, has she been verified with her Tdap?
No.
Okay. We were coming today to give her a Tdap if she hasn't had it done yet.
Get the off my house.
Hamus Matlock dealing with a lot of sticky situations. Despite weeks of free clinics and warnings, some Natomas kids still have not received a shot for whooping cough. He has a list of more than 40 left to get vaccinated. So, with a traveling nurse on hand, district officials are now left to track down kids who may be falling through the cracks.
There are a number of kids that we're finding out in our home visit today that are truant. They aren't in school.
That's enough. And it's coming up later in the piece. 5 years ago, I interviewed the state attorney in Maryland. It was a big national story. They had thousands of kids lined up at the courthouse, forcibly inoculating them, saying it's the law. And even the people that were going on Good Morning America and CNN who were against it were saying it's wrong that this is the law to make us take vaccines we think are dangerous. There was no law. And I got the state attorney on it, and I said, sir, there's no law. And he goes, you're right. I don't even give my kids shots. Started laughing. And I said, oh, you've heard about how they're bad. And he was laughing. And I said, well, and I'm going to show you the article come up in a minute. It's got his name and all the info in it. And I said, so it was all color of law. It was all a big hoax. And he said, wow, you ought to be a lawyer. Like if I was a lawyer, then I've got a degree in conning people. There is no law to take vaccines. They're trying to pass them. The actual law they've now passed in California is they can convince your kid to take it, and then they don't have to tell you no parental consent is needed. which itself is incredibly unconstitutional. Think of the liability of the school districts. But just like the school districts in 1910, 1920, 1930s sterilized up until the 80s 500,000 women, in some cases for just being poor, how did they grab women and sterilize them? They just did it. They had social workers, they had cops, they had doctors ready to do it. Just like in Nazi Germany. They just do it. There's no law that they could chop your testicles off. People send me emails going, well, they didn't do that. They did, they just tied their tubes. No, they would lop the testicles off. I made films about it. It's called Endgame. Look it up. This is total fraud you're seeing. By the way, let's go to a document cam shot over here of the screen. I said EPA from memory because we're not using teleprompters. We're using my brain here, okay? This is run by my brain, so it's going to have fits and starts. This is real. This isn't a White House memo you're getting. FDA, of course, it'd be the Food and Drug Administration. Low risk of illness from food containing melamine. Back in 2007, all those Chinese dying and executing the people that did it, and all our kids getting sick. What's our government's response? Hey, let your baby die of kidney failure because it was in the formula. Let them die. Radiation's good. Melamine's good. DU's good. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the rest of the articles and documents the guys have put together showing this history of hoax and fraud. Again, even if you're for vaccination, you think it's great. You trust Big Pharma. They're lying. Rick Perry lied and said, it's the law. You've got to take this Gardasil shot. And we called him and said, listen,